Jenny
and Ro
with Hot Recruiting. We got some feedback. We got some questions. Thank you, Mom and Dad.
our 2 subscribers.
Our #1 fans. Thank you. No, I think this is a really important topic. We're going to be discussing the top 10 things that you should not bring up in an interview. So, as a recruiter, as someone who interviews people all the time, every day, what is the top 10 things that you definitely don't want to hear from a candidate in an interview?
I don't know.
That's one.
Number 1. Never ever say I don't know in the interview.
Yeah, it just doesn't do you any favors. Every question, every answer is an opportunity for you to showcase your personality, for you to showcase how you think and what you know. So take it. Don't say I don't know. Ask for clarifying questions. If you don't understand what they're telling you, ask back. Like, try to get clarity. Make sure that you're showcasing yourself. Take the opportunity.
Yeah. So if you really don't know, like Jenny said, ask. Can you repeat the question a different way? Maybe you're not understanding the question, or if you truly don't know because it's something that you don't have. Let's say they're asking you for what's your accomplishment in your career, but you just started working and you really may not have something. You can be very honest and say, you know what, I just started my career. But in school or, in like my internship or when I was volunteering, we had this project, and then showcase your project and talk about all the steps you took and then the outcome to be able to answer the question. So answer it a different way, with something else that's relevant, and some way to show how you can answer that question.
Yep. Definitely. Borrow from other experiences. Again, it's about showing how you think and who you are and how you handle different situations. So that's a really good one. Number 1, I don't know. Do not say that. Okay, what's another one that, definitely comes up a lot, and you think, nobody's going to say something like that. These are pretty obvious.
Yeah.
But in the middle of the nerves, or maybe as you're going through it, this stuff comes up. So make sure you come prepared. What's something else?
I think another one is we made fun of this in another one about like the drama at work. Either drama or saying like my boss was terrible. My last boss was terrible. You want to stay away from that, and just any negativity, even if it was true, the recruiter or the interviewer is always trying to find out how did you resolve it, because you are always going to have conflict at work, whether it's a project you're working on. You're always trying to get to a goal. So they always want to know, how did you resolve that?
Keep it professional. It is hard. When you're looking for another job, you're looking for a culture fit. You want to make sure that your next manager, your next lead is going to be a good fit for you. That's a really good one. Thank you for sharing. Okay, what are some other ones that come up?
Yeah, I think the other one would be when you say, like, I just need a job. Usually I'll ask the candidate, why do you want to work here? And then they'll be like, oh, well, I just need a job. That just, again, shows no preparedness, that you're not interested in the company. You didn't research the company. You don't know what products they sell, why you would want to work there. It just kind of comes off as desperate, and I just need this, and that's the only reason I'm here, means to an end. So definitely stay away from that answer.
And we get it. You're looking out for a job. You want a paycheck. Like, we all do this for money. So stay true to yourself, but make sure that like an interview is a way to sell yourself. If you're competing with other candidates, how do you stand out? If you say things like, I just need a job and I'm just here to collect a paycheck, that doesn't really do it for the hiring manager or the recruiter or the company. There's one for me, and I think we talked about this, but for me, like, when I ask somebody, why this company, what do you know about our company? What do we do? And they just have no idea, or say something like that, like, oh, you know what, I really just like the role and I need this job, that they have no clue what your company does. It's to me is a turnoff. I am really passionate about what I do. And if if I'm telling you this in the interview, like pick up on that. Make sure that you know, like, okay, this person is really passionate about the job and the mission or whatever it is. Like speak a little bit about it because it tells me like you prepared and you care and you are looking to stand out.
Yeah. So when you ask, what does your company do? Um, Usually I do ask, what do you know about our company?
Yeah.
And when they're like, oh no, I was hoping you would tell me, what does your company do? Again, you're not investing time to research the company, see what products they sell, see if you're interested. Especially, I get shocked when I have people that, are in marketing or sales or something. I see that, they didn't research the company when they could have showcased analytics and things on the company, not just say, hey, I looked up your company, but hey, I looked how you compared against the competitors. And this is where I'd see that there'd be value. And that's why I was so interested because, you're rising in this area and I see a growth opportunity here. Yep. That blows away any recruiter or any interviewer. So that's what you should bring to the table. Not asking the recruiter, hey, I'm showing up here. You tell me all the facts. Like, no, you need to research and show this is what I would do for your company.
You're ready to come in, solve all the problems, hit the floor running. I know we hate all of those sayings, but like, yeah, like, you've thought about it. You come in, like, obviously, you're not going to have the answer to everything because you don't have the internal insight and knowledge. But from an outsider's perspective, we always are looking for an outsider's perspective. We pay people to tell us their outsider's perspective. So, as a new person coming in, you bring so much value from the get go, and that starts in the interview process. I had somebody tell me, like, oh, I don't know anything about your company. Your recruiter reached out to me. So tell me about it. And it's just like, yeah, bye bye.
And that happens a lot, because they're kind of like, oh, well, you want me, so you tell me. But if you moved forward because you are open to an opportunity, you're still being interviewed. So you should still invest the time and show up as best as possible so you can get the best offer as well. Because if you're showing up with that mentality, it's going to come across that way of like, oh, well, you want me, so you do all the work. And that's not how you work in a company. You collaborate. So that recruiter, that interview could potentially be your teammate. So you want to keep that in mind always in work. Like, who could you potentially work with eventually, or making sure those connections even are strong, even if you don't move forward, you could always meet that person later in life.
Oh my gosh, that happens, especially if you're staying in the same industry for years, you're going to cycle through people.
Yeah.
That's a really good one. I can talk about it all day. I'm really passionate about that one. So thank you for bringing it up.
Yeah.
What's another one?
I would say I'm a perfectionist. But don't say that.
I'm a perfectionist.
I'm such a when I said it, I felt like I was saying it about myself. So, but I'm saying that one because there are a lot of times the recruiter will ask you, tell me about your accomplishments and anything you could work on. And so I think the accomplishments and like it's kind of strength and weaknesses. You should always know your weaknesses. Those are so important to know. We all have weaknesses. For anybody to not know that, I think is a red flag, or to appear like, oh, I'm just perfect. There's nothing I need to work on. Doesn't go over well because we could always learn. And I think just saying that, like, oh, I could always work on learning more. If you are stuck, that's a really great go to. We can all learn a little bit more. We can always improve a skill, whether it's more technology, AI, learning more AI and how like it could help facilitate our work, anything like that. That if you can't think of something, but never just say, oh, I'm just perfect. Like there's nothing I need to work on.
Yes. At the very least, be honest with yourself about your weaknesses. Like, know those for yourself and, obviously showcase those in the best light possible. But yes, saying I'm a perfectionist, it's like overuse. Everyone says they're a perfectionist. What does it even mean? But it could come off a little bit insecure too. It's like, yes, you're a perfectionist, but like, what is that anxiety like to do things perfect. Like you're not going to get it perfect. So,
Mm-hmm.
what's the substance behind that comment or behind that answer?
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Okay,
Yes.
we have a few more. What's next?
I would say when people answer, I'm not a people person. Is
Sorry.
another one to stay away from.
Yes. Um, Unless like if you're working on your own, it's your own business,
Yeah.
you're not a people person, you recognize that about yourself, then know that and get the right
Yeah.
job for you. But if you're interviewing to work with other people, to be part of a team, or to
Yeah.
maybe work with customers and clients and interact with people, I'm not a people person. You guys, we laugh. You think that that doesn't happen. Again, in the nerves, you kind of just say things
Yeah.
that come up. So keep in mind, what you're saying.
Yeah, and I think too in tech, we've both worked in tech. You can have a lot of engineers. Some people are more introverted that naturally that I've interviewed in the past, and so that could be true. So you could always say like, oh, I'm more of an introvert, but I collaborate well with the team when I need to work on a project. But just saying you're not a people person, you got to interact with people somewhere in your job. Yeah, you have to interact with other people on your team, whether it's a client, whether it's other department heads or different cross functionally with other departments. You're always going to be or client facing role. You're always going to be talking to somebody. So that kind of comes across as like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to talk to anybody. I'm just going to punch in, do my work, and bye.
Yeah. So again, going back to your weaknesses and knowing them, like recognize that about yourself, but then come up with like, this is how I work with others. So like, I'm really good at documenting. I'm really good at reporting. I'm, the go-to person for admin work or tracking or anything that you have to do that involves, like just being more working with yourself as an individual contributor. Awesome. Okay. I think how many did we do? Do we have a couple more?
Yeah.
Okay. What's next?
I would say the other one is what's the salary? And I know we talked about in another YouTube about compensation, how to go about that, and that you can ask what the salary range is. But I think asking this really early on, I've had in the past candidates ask me right when the interview begins, when I ask them like, okay, I've told you about the interview process. Do you have any questions around that? They jump right into, oh wait, what is the salary for this position? Again, that shows that you're not prepared. In most states and most job posting boards, Indeed, LinkedIn, they post the pay. So again, that's showing you're not prepared, but also that's your main focus. It comes across. I would wait till the end of the interview to ask anything about compensation if the recruiter or interviewer has not brought it up yet, or if you haven't had those conversations yet in your other interviews. I will wait till you get to the end of the interview to bring it up.
And we share great tips for negotiating. So this is, again, we don't want to waste time. You don't want to waste your time. You don't want to go through a whole interview process and then find out that you didn't, that they're not going to match your salary expectations. So do the due diligence up front. Most of the time they're going to have to show you what the range is. If it's within range, then go through the process and then negotiate for yourself in the best case scenario. Awesome. That's a really good one. Check out our other episodes for negotiating tips and subscribe. We'll continue to talk about these because obviously we want you to make the most money as possible.
Yeah, but we are not done. We have, I think, two more.
Two more. Okay, I'm losing count. What's next?
So I would say the next one would be, I've had a lot of different jobs.
Yes.
Would be something to stay away from. That is something too in the resume. Some people don't like to see job hoppers, is what they call them in the resume, when you've been there for 6 months here, 2 months there, 3 months there. If you have that in your resume, I would recommend including that, either it was a contract rule or the reason for it, or if you have any gaps in the resume, making sure you include that so a recruiter can see that and doesn't just, put your resume to the side. But then also if that's the case, and you do say that, I would just explain why you've had a lot of different jobs. Maybe it is early on in your career. Maybe you weren't happy in the career you chose and you're looking for a change. And now you've realized that. And now you've taken courses and classes and you're looking, you've upgraded your skills to move to this role. So I would explain why. Don't just say that if it is true, but just I would shy away from actually saying it, because that can kind of come across that you are a job hopper and that you're not going to stay. Like, that nobody wants to invest into training, resources, equipment, material, laptop, a monitor, all of these things, for somebody to just leave and be like, you know what, I'm bored, I want to go try something else. So that's why that comes off that way.
Yeah, and if that's the case and you're kind of feeling uncomfortable about it, focus on the skills and the knowledge that you found. So instead of saying I've had a ton of jobs, just say I have all of this experience because I've done this and I've tried that and this is what I took away from everything, rather than focusing on like I've had a ton of jobs, I've done all of the things. Like, okay, great. But what did you get out of it, or what was your reasoning behind it? So I'm not saying, flip the card and turn things into something else, but just make sure that you're putting yourself in the best light possible. Okay, I love it. I love this conversation.
Yeah, so I would say the other one, similar, kind of in line with it, is I would say this is number 9. I'm just looking for something temporary.
I love the honesty. Like really, really, I love the honesty. It's
Yeah.
amazing. I've had people that are like, I have another job. I just, I'm starting my own business. This is just going to be my side thing. But it's a full-time position. So I'm kind of like, it's not adding up.
Yeah. So yeah, when you're saying that this is just temporary, again, back to that, nobody wants to pour in all this money to get somebody onboarded, trained, all of that costs, like the onboarding, the background checks, the time, the cost of vacancy, having to hire somebody again and put a posting out there, pay for boosted posts. There's so many costs behind hiring somebody on the back end that usually the intention is to have somebody hired at least minimum in the role. So you definitely want to stay away from saying, this is just temporary for me.
And you don't know. What if you get in there and you like it? And, like, there's so many things. So don't predict your future and, get yourself out of the running to receive this candidacy or this role, this position. So
Yeah.
don't don't predict the future. And if you are looking for something temporary, there are positions out there for you. So just make sure, again, you're gonna work with people again in the future. So when you're looking for something, make sure that is the right fit for you and for the company.
Yes, I agree.
Those are amazing. I think we have one more.
Yes. So number 10, at the end of the interview, when the recruiter asks you, so do you have any questions for me? Do not say, I don't have any questions. Please stay away from this. Always, always have some questions. Write them down before the interview. Maybe it's about, where do you see the company, in 3 years? Was this a backfill? What was the reason the person left? Like, what are the goals? What didn't work? Things that can help you, and take that into your next interview and be like, oh, the last interviewer told me that, they're having a shortage in product in Ohio. So I did research for that market in Ohio and I looked at the competitors, and here is, what I looked up and what I would do if you gave me the opportunity. So, like, pay attention, ask really detailed questions, because that can only help you stand out and get further in the interview process.
It shows you're interested, it shows you're paying attention, it shows you're driven, it shows you have ownership. And it's happened to me. I have my questions prepared. I'm so excited for when the end of the interview comes. And it turns out this person already answered my questions that I had prepared. So I can't ask them again because it's going to seem like, I wasn't paying attention in the interview at all. But there's always an opportunity to ask something. Don't say, I don't know. Because again, like this is the time that this person is giving you to show how you think. And it's also, you know, any insight that they can tell you about the company, anything that they can share with you, you can take to your next interview and the next interview, so that you can stand out. So use those. Those are opportunities. Those are little snippets of information that will help you stand out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was the top 10 things of what not to say in the interview. So definitely avoid making all these phrases. Stay positive in your interviews, and you know, with goals in mind of how to stand out and add value at every opportunity that you can. And yeah, give it a thumbs up if you like this content, and subscribe. And we are so excited to bring you more hot recruiting tips.
Thanks, Mom and Dad, for the
suggestions.
For the suggestions.
We love you.
But no, seriously, we're gonna have more. Please subscribe. Stay tuned. We're so excited to share them with you. Bye.
Yes. Bye.